Uh, Hello everyone, welcome to this series of lecture on political institutions and processes in Northeast India. I'm very sorry for the niche in the WebEx medium, but we will still continue with our classes. Today I will be discussing with you the uh, institution called the Northeastern Council. We will be discussing its structure, its evolution, its role and function in terms of bringing about development in the Northeast region. Before we begin, let me make this very clear that the Northeastern Council, although is being critically looked upon by many people as an institution which has fairly failed in its function, yet I would say that the Northeastern Council is a very important institution meant for the integrated development of the Northeast region. There are reasons about that, and we will discuss about those things gradually as we go along. First of all, let us understand that the Northeastern Council is a statutory organization. It is not a constitutional organization, but rather a statutory organization which was set up in 1972 by the Northeastern Council Act of 1971. This act was amended in 2002 and 2013 again. So, in order to give more teeth to this institution, in order to enhance its role, its function, and its efficiency. The primary objective of the NEC is for securing a balanced and coordinated development of the Northeast region of India by actually affecting proper coordination among the different states in the region. The Northeastern Council initially, it was mandated as an advisory body of the Northeast states, but over the years it envisaged its function as a regional planning body for the region, as well as a body of providing financial assistance for the many projects in the region. Uh, the states that are covered under the NEC were originally Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, and Tripura. And through the Northeastern Council Amendment Act of 2002, Sikkim was added as the 8th member state of the council. So, through the same amendment, provisions for the nomination of the chairperson to the NEC was also made through the president assent to this particular bill, and therefore, in pursuance of that provision, and on the recommendation of the expert committee in 2003. It was also decided that normally the Union Minister for the Development of Northeastern Region shall preside over the NEC. Two full-time members have also been inducted into the council, and the third member to be taken from the Planning Commission, or what is known today as the Niti Udyog. So therefore, with the donor minister being made as the chairman or the chairperson of the NEC, other members therefore include the governors, chief ministers of constituent states, as long as they hold office. Along with these members, as I said, there are another 3 members to the council nominated for a period of 3 years, which may be extended for a period of not more than 2 years. And as I said earlier, of the 3 members, one should be a member in charge of the Northeastern of Northeast in the Planning Commission or in the Niti Udyog, and the other 2, of course, are the non-official members, which are to be nominated by the President of India, through the Gazette notification. Following its inclusion, as I said earlier, in 2002, following the inclusion of Sikkim as a member state, Sikkim was then considered as a non-contiguity entity, or rather an entity which may not necessarily share contiguity with the other states, or rather which may not necessarily have direct relationship in terms of its area, geography with the rest of the northeastern states. And so therefore all these standalone schemes are being sanctioned for the state of Sikkim. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that while all other states, while all the projects for other states are meant for the integrated development of the whole region, as well as for coordinating the development of one state with that of the other, to bring about an overall development in the whole of the northeast region, Sikkim being located at the far end of the western part of the region, and which may not necessarily have direct border with other states. It is a standalone state, and therefore schemes which are of standalone nature are being sanctioned for this state, and therefore need not necessarily be that the coordinated planning of the northeast region will also be in the case of Sikkim. Having said all this, we must therefore now look into the origin of the Northeastern Council in a very brief manner. So therefore it must be noted, it must be understood to all of us, that the NEC was in the initial years headed by what was known then as Common Governor as its chairman, with lieutenant governors of the union territories and all the chief ministers as member states to this council. After the appointment of separate governors in 1981, the practice of either the governor of Assam or senior most governor acting as its head was made the norm. So, which therefore means that in the initial years there was the concept of a common governor, governor for all, and therefore this common governor who then acted as the chairperson of the Northeastern Council. But this was changed from 1981, and from 1981, as I said, the governor of Assam was made governor of Assam, or the senior most governor, was made the chairperson of Northeastern Council, with all the lieutenant governors of the union territories then, of course, states like Mizoram, Nepal were union territories then. So therefore they were members of the Northeastern Council along with the chief ministers of all other states. But as I said, this gradually changed, and over a period of time somebody was made the chairman of the Northeastern Council. But from 2002 onwards, the nominated union minister was made the chairman of the Northeastern Council, and in pursuance of, or following that particular order, usually the Minister of Donor or the Minister for the Development of Northeast Region was then made the chairperson of the Northeastern region. So now, Northeastern Council is therefore a supra-state institution. If you can see, it coordinates between different states. So therefore, it is not an institution which is, related only to one state, but it is an institution which look after the development of a number of states. For instance, in this case, 8 states. So therefore, it is a supra-state institution, and as I said, it came into existence as a result of the reorganization of the region during those years into 5 states and 2 union territories. So what I'm trying to say here is, after Assam was divided into different states, into states of Manipur, state of Nagaland, then Meghalaya, then of course Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, and then union territories like Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh, and then of course the inclusion of Sikkim. So therefore, with the reorganization of these states, the NAC became a supra-state institution, and it functions as so. Today, this institution revitalizes its significance due to the twin needs of affecting better interstate coordination in the region. Region being landlocked, require coordination from one state to the other in order to bring about a holistic development of the whole of the region. So therefore, in this particular context, as I said, the institution also play a very important role for maintenance of internal security, and it therefore helped in facilitating planned and integrated development of Northeast region of India. So with these as the basic tenets of the Northeastern Council, let us now turn to the goal and responsibilities of the Northeastern Council. So as I said earlier, originally the council has had a threefold mandate in its functions, and those mandates are, for example, number one is to consider issues which two states of the region had an interest, and therefore accordingly to advise the central government in that matter. The second important responsibility of the Northeastern Council was to prepare a regional plan meant for either 2 or more states or for the whole of the region. And the third responsibility as mandated to the Northeastern Council was to coordinate security matters, especially internal security matters in the region. That was significant at some point of time, because we all know that the Northeast region was facing internal crisis through issues like ethnic conflict, through issues like secessionist movements, through various movements for demanding separate states, for demanding a certain amount of autonomy, as we have seen in the previous syllabus. So therefore, in this particular context, one can say that coordinating security was also a very important matter of the NAC in terms of its functions in the region, in the, primarily in the original objective of this particular supra-state institution. After the amendments have been made to the Principal Act of the Northeastern Council, the present charter demanded or mandated the NSC with other functions, with other responsibilities. um, of course, on the basis of the original mandate, there are other functions that the NEC also acted for. As I said in the as I just said, number one, then the first function of the NEC then remained to be the function to be an institution to function as a regional planning body. Earlier, it was for preparation of regional plans. Now, it is a regional planning body, which means it is now an institution to prepare the plan for the whole of the region. The second function, as mandated through the amendment made in 2002, was that the Northeastern Council would function as to provide finance and to also implement projects of benefits of two or more states, except in the case of Sikkim, which I said is a standalone. It's a standalone state, and therefore all these standalone schemes and projects will be implemented in Sikkim. The third objective of the Northeastern Council was to review the pace of development in the region, particularly in the context of the regional development plan. So therefore, after having made the plan document, after having financed and also implemented the projects through various other bodies or through different agencies and so on and so forth, now the next important plan or the next important responsibility of the NEC has been to review the pace of development, to ensure that these development take place as per mandated through various DPR or detailed project report. Especially when it comes to the regional development plan, especially when it comes to ensuring that development taking place in one part of the region is being benefited by other parts of the region, or development happening in one state would be benefited by other states neighboring that part, the region where that project is being implemented in a particular state. The fourth important objective after the amendment became the responsibility of the NEC to review measures especially taken by states to maintain security and public order in the region. So security and public order also became part and parcel of the responsibility of the NEC even after the act was implemented. In the recent years, the goal of we must understand first of all that the goal of the NEC keep evolving with changing times and also in response to the emerging situation and requirements of institutions in the country and the region. So in recent achievement reports of the council, the following areas have been pointed out as the goal of the institution. In this particular report was submitted in 2013. It was submitted in 2013, and the name of the report is called as the Northeastern Council Achievements in the last 3 years. So the first objective through this report, the first objective of the NEC as made through this report is number one, for preparation of integrated and holistic regional perspective plans to achieve specific short-term and long-term objectives by taking into account the aspirations, need and sensitivity of people of the region. So basically now what we see is that Northeastern Council, which was seen as a super state institution, which many have criticized it as an institution which is overriding the achievements of different states, which is sometime which sometime become an area of conflict, especially when states actually desire different types of development. So therefore, now the objective of the NEC is also modified as a body meant for preparation of integrated and holistic regional perspective plans, to achieve specific goals, whether short term or long term goals. And in doing so, the NEC also has to take into account the aspiration, the needs, and the sensitivity of the people of the region. The second objective, as pointed out through this report, is for identifying the strength of the region and focusing on opportunities for accelerating the pace of socio-economic development in the northeastern region through participatory planning and implementation. Now, the most important aspect of the modified role and responsibility of the NEC, therefore, becomes becomes the its become is its responsibility to identify what are the strengths of the region. For example, the strength in terms of tourism, in terms of the mosaic of culture, in terms of the natural resources, and so on and so forth. So therefore, identifying these strengths of the region and therefore focusing on the opportunities for accelerating the pace of socio-economic development, which means for ensuring that these strengths become the opportunities for the people, and therefore the people benefiting from it through accelerated socio-economic development, like the social mobility of the population, and doing so and ensuring that this is happening through a participatory process of planning and implementation. So therefore, in the recent years, we have largely also seen that in many of the areas, the NEC has suggested that the panchayat, the local darbar, local institutions prepare the plans for the development of their own villages. This is in a way of ensuring that development in the region is of participatory nature. The third, another important objective then is the process of synergizing and building convergence in the effort of the center and the state government and other stakeholders for bringing about balanced development in the region, for bringing about for ensuring that there is a balanced development in the region. Not that one particular state is very developed while the other state is suffering because one state has become so developed and the others are way behind. The fourth objective, as mandated through this report, is for the NEC to evolve a coordinated common approach for all agencies working for the development, working for the public order and security of the region. So therefore, which means that the NEC also has the responsibility to coordinate a common approach, or to coordinate an action plan which is common to all, while encouraging, while also allowing various agencies and institutions to work for the development of the region, to bring about public order and security, in the region. For example, the development of the Bodo Territorial Council into regional council, and the sort of uh, extrapolating consequence of the Naga movement probably will come out of this particular agenda of the NEC, that is to bring about a coordinated common approach to a question of development, public order, and also security of the region. The fifth point is for evolving and aiding in the formulation of innovative and appropriate policies and strategies suited for the region for its overall round rapid development in the region. So, which means that for bringing about all round rapid development of the region, the NEC has the mandate to evolve and to aid or to help in formulating of innovative and appropriate policies for different states, for the developing different strategies for different states, in order to be for the states to be able to have able to have peace, to be able to experience public order, and in the process therefore bringing about development of the whole region. Now, uh, 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 coming to the function of the NEC and the achievements of this particular institution, as I said from the very beginning, we must understand that the creation and existence of NEC has indicated that there is a need for regional approach with regard to development of Northeast region. This has appeared necessary to the national policy makers, and because of which therefore institutions like NEC have come into existence. This approach is pertinent, is even more pertinent in the context of the Northeast region because of the geographical strategic location of the areas across the region. We must understand that almost all the states of Northeast region share international borders with our neighboring countries, and therefore in order that Northeast region, which is already infested with various internal problem, is not going to be the ground for international conflict. It is very pertinent that there is this kind of approach to bring about a holistic development of the whole of the region, which is coordinated by various states. Therefore, in this particular context, we must acknowledge that the NECs have contributed immensely to different sectors. For example, transport and communication, then power sector, then industries, manpower development are all seen as areas that are important to the region, strategically also important in terms of its of the geopolitics of the region, as well as for the internal security of the region, and also to bring about development of the whole of the whole of Northeast region. And therefore they also require collective coordination, as they also commonly benefit from these development. So therefore it is for such shared interests that projects have been mandated under the NEC for its implementations. projects, as we have pointed out, which are of significance to two or more states. Again, over the years, NEC had also had immense contribution in the process of development of all the 8 states of the Northeast region, and consequently, it has also made impact in the socio-economic economic development of the people, and as such, it has brought in social mobility in the lives through various means like financial assistance to schemes, through projects that have affected the livelihood of people, uh, which are being implemented through different sectors. Um, NEC has also seen an increased in terms of the budget allocation from its initial years of 1973-74, when it received 0.33 crore as its budget. Today, NEC has achieved recognition for its role in the development of the region, and as such, therefore, there have been increase in budget allocation, which has gone up to 3,248 crores in the 11th five-year plan of 2007 2008 to 2011 2012. In the year 2017 and 18 to 1920, the council budget or council fund was enhanced to the tune of 4,200 to 4,500 crores, including, apart from that, then the council has also obtained fund for about 1,000 crore for what is known as the Northeastern Sector Development Scheme, or or rather, under the newly designed Central Sector Scheme for the upgradation of neglected interstate road in the region. So therefore, under the NERSDS, or the Northeastern Sector Development Scheme, separate budget for the development of road connectivity has been allocated fund under the Northeastern Council. The next important thing for us, in order to understand the achievement of the Northeastern Council, is in terms of the functions of the council in various sectors. For instance, let us look at the agriculture and allied sector. In 2014 and 15, the expenditure of agriculture and allied sector was 98.25 crore and rupees 105.68 crore. And then in 2016-17, 205 crore was being allotted for this sector. And through this sector, the NEC has been able to establish a high-tech garden of mandarin orange and guava and large cardamom garden, especially in the various areas of Arunachal Pradesh. It also had organized 11 state-level Orange Festival in Tamenglong district of Manipur, and also the implementation of the NER-COR-MP third phase in different states. In 2016, the council also undertook the development of sericulture in Arunachal Pradesh, then development of model horticulture center in 3 districts, in 3 locations, that is Narumphum, Tupul and Haipi in Manipur state. Then of course the NEC also is working on the establishment of poultry and breeding farm and hatchery in Phulbari, West Garo Hills district of Meghalaya, and of course poultry breeding in Manipur, and many other functions that the NEC is undertaking. Then it is also engaged in cultivation of large cardamom in various districts of Arunachal Pradesh. Then there is the project of watershed management for sustainable agriculture production in Nagaland. Then livelihood project on agriculture, horticulture and applied activities. Of course, piggery breeding unit by NERCOR MP in Assam and Meghalaya. And as part of the Prime Minister Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, on the NEC is also bringing about improvement in tourist circuit, falling under the project of NERCORMP. Then in terms of industries and tourism sector, the NEC has been allocated, in 2014-15, 9.23 crore, then 15-16, 34.29 crore, and 16-17, 52.22 crore respectively. And how is the NEC helping in industries? By setting up, information communication technology in tourism, and also setting up of manufacturing unit of quality bakery product in the various parts of Northeast, especially in Lungai, Mizoram. Under this sector, the NEC is also doing has contributed immensely to the development of tourism master plan for the Northeast region. And therefore it has also helped in organizing various festivals in different areas of the Northeast region, whether it was organizing William Nagar Winter Festival, then the ecotourism in Mauplang Sacred Grove, and creation of Rashi Waterfall cum recreation center at Sentung village, and of course many other things. Then NEC is also helping with bamboo technology, and another very important aspect of this particular sector, especially helping with tourism, is the development and the organization of what was known then as the Indigenous Tere Madri or Mother Earth festival in 2015. Many other things we can discuss about the achievements of the Northeastern Council. In terms of the human resource development and employment sector, the NEC has built infrastructure, across the region, and also it has organized training of professionals in areas of hospitality, tourism, in other various sectors. It has also constructed dispensary outdoor sports complex in New Delhi, in the New Peran district, and it has also constructed departmental building of B.Ed College in Sorang, Sikkim, and also it laid the foundation of construction of a girls' hostel in Bangalore, in JNU and other places. Then NEC is also involved in irrigation and flood control and watershed management, and it has been successful in many ways in this particular context, whether it is in the Brahmaputra, whether it is in Arunachal Pradesh and in other parts. Then information and public relation, this is also an area where the NEC has contributed immensely. So I'm not going to go into all the details, but what we can say is, yes, another very important sector that we must not forget is the contribution of NEC to the development of medical and health sector. It has established community ophthalmology department, and it has also helped in the extension of Sri Sankardev Netralaya Guwahati, and of course supported to different district hospital, whether it is in Manipur, Charachandpur, or in other places. Um, and Yes, in 2014-15, the NEC has also funded uh, B. Barwa Cancer Institute and has upgraded it and has given this hospital under the care of the Department of Atomic Energy. Okay, Department of Atomic Energy. In power sector as well, the NEC has contributed immensely through the construction of various dams and repairing renovation of different dams like Umiam in Meghalaya, then construction of Kumtung in Mizoram, and many other places. Okay. And also in science and technology, the NEC has contributed immensely. Anyway, then of course, as I said, transport and communication sector. Um, the development of road infrastructure in the northeast is largely the contribution of NEC. And another very important thing is the contribution of NEC towards air connectivity in northeast region by various airlines agency like the Alliance Air, which started airline connectivity between Shillong and Calcutta and back, and Calcutta Guwahati, Lilabari, and vice versa, and Calcutta Silchar Tezpur, and vice versa. These are all a contribution of the NEC. Then, as I said, construction of roads in various parts of the region, especially construction of roads in rural areas. So the Northeastern Regional Community Resource Management Project for upland areas was also established as a joint livelihood projects of the Northeastern Council under the Ministry of Doner, and this is also contributing immensely to the social mobilization and capacity building in the area, and also it has helped in intervening with economic and social activities and infrastructure, with particularly predominant thrust on income generating activities to particularly achieve economic transformation in the region. So these are some of the achievements and the successes of the Northeastern Council. Yes, therefore, having said that, we must also know that we must also understand that although the achievements of the NEC have been analyzed and measured in terms of, as I just pointed out just now, in terms of the budget allocation and expenditure and the number of projects undertaken by the council, we must, however, understand that in the absence of a systematic overall organizational appraisal of the NEC, as is the case with all other organizations in the country, it is still difficult to categorically state about its success and failures. Like many other high level bodies, transaction of purposive business by the NEC has often been pointed out as having been hampered because its proceedings have always been dominated by rhetorics with limited time devoted to deliberations. Similarly, NEC is faced with the increasing state plan budgets or state plan outlays. Means every state is increasing their outlay, and therefore NEC is facing a lot of difficulty in allotting resources for different states. This is also coupled with the increasing central subventions, especially through statutory transfers of officers then centrally sponsored schemes and ad hoc allocation have also in many ways led to the shift in terms of the attention of the the member states um, from this regional institution, and therefore this institution is looked upon as an appendix, or it is looked upon as an extra institution in case the states have failed to approach other ministries for the development of their own state. Um, it must also, but despite all these, as I said in the beginning, it must, however, be acknowledged that the NEC sponsored schemes have contributed significantly, especially in improving interstate road and air connectivity. Substantial augmentation of power generation and distribution and harmonious regional cooperation are also some of the areas of NEC, some of the areas that the NEC has played a pivotal role, and the NEC has also contributed towards the interstate institutions of medical, dental, technical, paramedical educations that it has established and maintained in different parts of the region, and of course in other parts of the country as well. And it has also added to the development of human resources. Today, if the Northeast region are having immense resources in terms of human resources, the role of the NEC cannot be cannot be belittled. These have also in many ways these contributions of the NEC have also brought about better understanding between different states with the region, as much as it has also exposed the region in terms of its rich culture, tradition, language, and human resource to the rest of the country. So in recent times, Northeast region being rich with horticulture, with with animal husbandry and other things. Some sectors have also been given priority. For instance, bamboo, piggery, regional tourism. Tourism is one of the most important strength of the Northeast region. Then higher education, tertiary healthcare, and then special intervention in backward areas, and many other livelihood projects, science and technology, survey and investigation, and also the promotion of Northeast region have attained priority in the functioning of this council, and therefore the increase in resources of the council over the years have also enabled it to take up more projects. So therefore, as I said earlier, in terms of development, in terms of coordinating the development, in terms of coordinating the economic policies and so on and so forth, the Northeast Council has played a significant role. Coming back a bit to the security issue, the security coordination aspect, as I said, has received adequate consideration in the initial phase of the NEC. In the initial stage, the Inspector General of Assam Rifles acted as the ex officio advisor in terms of internal security, but however, this responsibility was subsequently resumed by the Ministry of Home Affairs, and NEC now remain to be a planning and financial agency for the development scheme of the interstate importance of the region. However, as I said, NEC still play a very important role through these development, through these projects, through the schemes, through its role in bringing about transformation in the livelihood of people, it still play a very highly significant role in terms of the internal security of the region. Uh, with this short introduction about NEC, I will stop here. I'm very sorry that the uh, WebEx medium did not work. I hope we will try again in the evening or maybe sometime tomorrow. But if you have any questions, queries, you are always welcome to ask them any point of time. So thank you very much, and maybe next lecture I will discuss about the migration of Northeast people and its impact on the region. Thank you very much.